tuning in to colonialbroadcast.com.
I am about to leave, but it's no
Give me
no
your
sense.
ID so that I can cite you.
I am not going to give you my ID because I did not do nothing wrong.
Officer.
Adam 11 from...
So here we have the case of a guy that's riding his bicycle on the sidewalk, which is wrong. In most states, and I'm sure it is in this one, when you have a bicycle, you need to be on the road along with other wheeled vehicles. The sidewalk is made for pedestrians, and when you're on a bicycle, you're not really a pedestrian anymore. But it's unsafe, and it's not something we commonly do anymore because cars travel at much faster velocities than bicycles. A car traveling the speed limit, which is normally 30 to 45 miles an hour, could easily kill a bicyclist on collision. So the officer's asking for his ID. He's resisting. Is that right? Yes, it is. That's perfectly okay. You can say, officer, no, I want to speak to your supervisor. And by law, she has to call her supervisor out. So let's see how this goes down.
So you can go ahead and arrest me.
Adam,
I don't care, bro.
Adam,
You gonna
Adam,
arrest me for riding on the sidewalk? Bro,
Okay,
no, this
I'm
don't make
telling
no
you right
sense.
Officer
now.
N. Martinez.
Give me your
Merced.
ID.
Okay, so too easy. He says, arrest me. So now she has to find cause for arrest. She has to be able to look at the situation and say, okay, I'm making a choice. Am I going to run this gentleman's ID or am I going to detain and arrest him? So yeah, it makes sense. And he points out the nonsense of the situation for riding on a sidewalk. So let's continue.
Police.
Yes, you do.
I don't have to give you
Yes,
nothing.
you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Why? What law says
So that
that?
I can...
So from this clip, it's obvious that she is speechless. She has no idea what law is going on here. And she has not gotten his ID because she can't find a reasonable cause. So let's go.
400 block of bless me.
Man, bro,
This is what happens. This is what happens. This is what happens.
So one of the officers know me.
Oh, what are you doing? Why are you trying to move from the stop? Not smart.
You need to give me your
So,
ID.
excuse me.
You need to give me your ID.
Excuse me.
You need to give me your ID.
Okay. Hey, let her. Hey, it's good. I got it. Hey.
Okay, so had this gentleman actually just passively let her grab him, he could argue in court that is assault. Assault by an officer, as well as she has a firearm, so that's assault under duress. So he could have argued this in court. He could have possibly sued the city. I'm not saying it would have happened. I'm saying it's a possibility. The options are endless here because she has now grabbed him in a forceful manner. All he has to do from this point is just not leave the stop. If he leaves the scene of the crime, then now he's fleeing. And that's what she's trying to prevent. But based on this video footage, he still has grounds to argue.
Hey, I got it.
Are you gonna
Don't touch me.
Hey, so I'm still with you. You know, you're saying don't touch me. You have every right to say don't touch me. That is your right. Freedom of speech. It's covered. And you know what? I agree. If this young lady here in uniform with the Napoleon complex was touching me, I'd be angry too. I mean, look what we're dealing with. You're not peddling meth. You're not robbing a bank. Certainly not on a bicycle. I mean, literally, your possible crime is riding a bicycle. And it's truly dangerous to ride a bicycle on streets nowadays. So I'm still with you. So keep up the good fight. Let's see what you do.
I got it, bro.
Give me your ID now.
Who do you
I got
think
it.
this is?
You need to give me your ID.
I got
You
it.
better get off me.
Hey.
Okay, mistake number one. Again, you're trying to flee the scene of a possible crime. And then when she grabs you to detain you, you are now fighting her. So now you're using force against an appointed officer. No go. Can't do that.
Chill out.
Give me your
Why
ID
is he touching
now.
me?
Hey, I got it. Hey, I got it on film, bro. It's all
Yeah, you
good.
got it on
It's all
film, so
good.
you
It's
better
all
not
good.
touch me. I didn't
It's all
touch you,
good.
so
Give
don't
me
touch
your
me.
ID now.
It's all good.
Yes, you
No,
are.
I'm not giving you nothing.
Give me.
Bruh.
Hey.
In the streets is not the place or time to sit there and argue and fight. You'll have your day in court, okay? So let her handcuff you, let her take you to jail. That's perfectly fine. And when you make her look like an idiot in court, then you can go ahead and seek reparations for what's been done, okay? So get your hands down, because if you stop right now, you still stand an inkling of a chance of suing the city.
Get off me.
Give me your ID now.
What is you doing?
Put your hands behind
What
your
is you
back.
doing?
Put your hands behind your back.
Bruh.
Put your hands behind your back. Now.
Good. So you decided to go ahead and stop fighting. You're not fleeing the scene of a crime. You're now submitting to the officer. Smart choice. I'm proud of you. Situation is contained. You can now go ahead and seek some kind of justice through the court system like you should have initially done. So, case closed, right?
You hear her talking to you?
Hey.
So, where'd this guy come from? I swear, it's like I saw him on an episode of Chips the other day. He must have got off the set and came out here to check this out. I mean, his first action is he walks up to the guy and grabs him by the throat. Who does that? What kind of idiot wants to cost the city money? You've gone from detaining a suspect to assaulting a suspect. And he's on camera. He is on camera, you fool. Oh my God. Let's see how this plays out.
Hey. All right. Hey, no. Hey, chill.
I'm not doing nothing to you.
All right. It's all
This is
good.
what they do to black people, bro. You see what they do?
Okay, look, he's still resisting arrest now. Granted, I think he has a reason. He just had someone wrap their hands around his throat. But I don't know what black people has to do with it. He looks like maybe a white officer, and she's clearly Latina. So, I mean, this isn't like some kind of majority against minority hate crime. No, this is you started acting a fool, and this is what happens. Let's check.
Merced.
Come on, nigga. I'm not
Merced
doing nothing.
police.
Turn around.
Merced police. Merced police. We're.
Turn around.
You call when you're in
Bro, I'm not doing nothing.
around.
Now you
Get
guys
real.
are witnessing.
Hey,
Get
I'm
real.
not doing
talking to you
a
either,
thing,
Paul.
bro.
All right, bro. All right, bro. All
Riding his bike.
right, bro.
He was riding his bike.
Bro, I gotta get up out of here, bro.
Riding the
Get
bike.
up off me, nigga. Would you stop? Get up off me, though. Why are you doing this? What did I do to you? Come on now. I'm a typical black person. Going home. This is what we see on Facebook.
I don't want to argue with you, but you know what happened.
Yeah, I know exactly. He was refusing to abide to the officer's request.
So the guy's still arguing with the officer. Granted, he got choked, so now he's squirming. You know, that's understandable. You know, I think even a judge could look at this and be like, well, you choked the guy. Did you expect him not to resist? If someone choked you, wouldn't you resist? So I understand that. I do. Although he needs to submit. He needs to submit. It's the only way for him not to get in further trouble. At the same time, you got the officer in the background that's sitting there saying, oh, no. You got to comply with every officer's request. It's a request, dumbass. It's not an order. It is not an order. When they say, I'm giving you an order, that's when things change. If they make a request, you don't have to honor that request. It's the very definition of request. It takes two to tango. So the thing is, the officers can lie. It's been affirmed by the Supreme Court before. It just got affirmed again in April. It was the case of Hector Magallan Lopez versus the United States. They stopped this guy for supposedly failure to signal, but they had pre-planned to stop him anyways because they suspected him of having drugs, which was the case. He had drugs. So they got him for that, and he tried to suppress the evidence based on a false stop. The Supreme Court said no, this is okay. So they are reaffirming the right for the federal government and all appointed officers from the federal to the state level to the county to the city and every township to lie to you. So you got to be careful about what you hear from officers. Let's see what happens.
Officer was for what?
What's his ID? That's it. If you would have given an ID, that's it. It would have been okay.
Hey, then get off me then. Sit down. Hey, can you get off me? Sit Bro, why is you squeezing my fucking cuffs? Sit down. God, bro.
Sit down.
Oh, why is you kicking me, nigga? Stop fucking kicking me, bro. How many times you got me fucked up? Sit down. I don't care, nigga. You squeezing my cuffs and you fucking squeezing me too fucking hard, bro. You got me fucked up, dude. Sit down. I swear to God, bro.
He's sitting down.
Officer
Come
Jay
on, bro.
Gonzalez, Merced
Get the
Police.
fuck off me.
Officer
Listen,
Jay
Get the
Gonzalez,
fuck off me.
Merced
Get the
Department.
fuck off me, nigga.
Back up.
Take me
Yes,
to
sir.
jail.
Yes.
All right, so they've now got the suspect on the ground. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure that the one officer with the biker helmet was pretty hard with the guy. I'm almost certain of that. I mean, let's take away he looks. I mean, granted, the guy looks like an asshole. He looks like a big jerk. But let's take away that. You can see how he came up on the scene. So I'm sure that only progressed. Now, then you have the officer in the background, whoever it was that was saying, you know, you have to and you have to comply with every officer's request. The liar, saying back up, and the guy on the camera says, "Roger, gotcha, I'm backing up."
Sure.
Right on the sidewalk.
Yes, sir.
So let's see what happened here. The guy backs up, and it looks like someone tried to cuff him. It looks like the officer behind him that was lying to him has now grabbed his hands and detained him somehow. I mean, that's the only conclusion you can make based on what I just saw and what everyone else has seen. Now, to recap here, this guy was passively saying, "No, I'm not giving you my ID." That is his right. No officer can force you to give up an ID, but they can detain you. And when they charge you with a crime, then they can run you. And if you don't want to give your name, that's fine. They can take you down to the station. But you have to be charged with a crime. They can't just arbitrarily ask for your ID. So you had this lady. This lady clearly had a Napoleon complex, and you had her. Now, up until the point that you started fighting back, when you started to flee the scene of a crime, and when you started to aggressively try to get away from her, when she grabs you by the hands, that's when you just let it happen. Just let it happen. Let her do it. Now, the guy on the outside was filming. I don't understand what happened. I mean, he said, "Hey, calm down," and the guy calmed down. He put his hands behind his back. He let the officer detain him. Now, as soon as the other guy ran up on him, Mr. Chips here, and grabbed him by the neck, game on. Game on. You got the guy's job. Just let it happen. I know it's tough. I know you got a lot of pride in you. You're young, but you let it happen. Because you're going to have his job. And you can do that. We live in an era now where cops lose their jobs constantly. And people are always there to replace them. So let him get aggressive with you. Let him kick you and punch you and whatever he wants to do.
If you really like this video,
Because the next day,
please visit me.
your ass is his.
ColonialBroadcast.com.
So,
There's
look,
also my Facebook page.
you get arrested, just
look
let it
for
happen.
Colonial Broadcast.
You don't have to give your
also
ID. I
follow me on
respect
Twitter,
that. But
at
you got to
James
fight it in
Just
court and not on the streets.
JAM.
So y'all stay safe out there.
JUST Davis. DAVIS. Again, James Just Davis. If you don't like me, you're hurting my feelings and you're really getting into my safe space. I need you to leave right now before I call the authorities.